Hi there, and thank you so much for joining me for this lesson on how to sing without strain. If you don't already know me, my name is Karyn O'Connor. I'm a professional singing teacher and the writer of SingWise.com. In the first videos on this topic of vocal strain, I talked about the psychology of vocal strain and how our counterproductive thought patterns with regards to singing high and loud notes can actually lead to imbalances in our technique that cause us strain, and how we should really avoid jumping ahead of our technical development in trying to sing high notes and instead make sure that we have balance in the middle portion of our ranges. And in today's lesson, I'm going to be talking about how to sing loud notes without straining. Now, most of us admire singers with big and powerful voices. And when we hear those big and powerful voices that we love so much, what do? We crank up the radio or we go off into our bedroom and we start wailing. And we push and squeeze and strain and constrict and force to try to sound exactly like they do. However, we don't. Instead, we just sound squeezed and forced and strained and constricted and pressed. And at the end of all of that, we end up feeling sore and hoarse and in need of some vocal rest. And what we fail to acknowledge is that these singers who have these big and powerful voices have probably been doing this for a long time, and they've worked their way up to having that kind of intensity in their sound. They may possibly have more naturally robust instruments than our own, so it's a little bit easier for them, a little more natural for them to be able to sing with these big and powerful sounds. They have the balanced technique in place to be able to produce these tones in a healthy, safe manner, and artistically effectively as well. And they're making these sounds with the aid of amplification and possibly some other studio effects. So it's unrealistic for us to expect to be able to make the exact same kind of sounds without first achieving balance in our technique and also building up to that kind of intensity. Big and powerful vocal sounds are produced with a combination of effort down here, a lot of engagement of the support musculature in generating a sufficiently high subglottal pressure, and that pressure is matched by vocal effort, a fair bit of vocal effort, glottal compression, that enables us to produce a strong sound source signal and an effectively tuned resonator tract that enables us to optimize our resonance potential and maximize our carrying capacity. It's made with a balance between all three of these aspects of our instruments. And if we lack that balance, then we're merely going to be forcing and straining and pressing and squeezing and constricting to try to make those big sounds. And we're going to end up injuring ourselves. So when I'm trying to help singers find that balance for those big and powerful notes, I do something with them that might seem a little bit counterintuitive, even counterproductive. What I do is I have them bring that dynamic level way down. We start with a sort of moderate intensity, the kind of intensity that we would use in energized speech. Hey, how you doing? So good to see you, right? That's it. That's where we stop, all right? And then we work on an exercise. I like to do yeah, 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 yeah. And what we do is we stay in M1, we stay in chest voice, and we make sure that that top note, that fifth of the exercise, is not sung any louder than the root note is. If we hear yeah, 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 we stop and we make our way back down if we can't bring down that intensity to that sort of moderate, energized speech kind of dynamic. And when we're doing this, we're training balance into the system. If we start to try to jump ahead of our current level of technical development, we're going to lose that balance. And what we'll find is initially we're going to have a limited range, right? We're not going to be able to sing as loudly as we want to be able to sing and not as high up as we normally do. And we have to be okay with that. This is part of a process of finding better balance, so that we can move forward in singing louder and more powerful sounds gradually over time by doing it in a balanced manner. If we lose that balance, again, we're going to risk vocal injury and strain. We don't want that to happen. Here there's a little bit of wobble in my voice, right? And that's okay. If it's a little tiny bit of a wobble, the instrument will kind of figure itself out. If it's a really big wobble, then that's a sign that we've probably been using way too much vocal effort in trying to generate those pitches and trying to produce those tones. So again, we bring it down and we listen to what our instruments are telling us. Are they telling us that we're trying to make those sounds with way too much vocal effort? If we are, we stop and we make our way back down in pitch. Because over time it'll start to strengthen. Now we can increase the dynamics just a little bit to kind of stabilize that sound, but if we again have to get to yelling and shouting in order to stabilize that sound, then we're too high for now. And so we either keep plugging away at that pitch a little bit until we can find a better balance, or we start making our way back down and making sure that we continue to find balance on the notes below that point in gradually adding another semitone and another semitone and another semitone that we can sing with this sort of moderate intensity level. Don't be in a rush to extend this range. Don't be in a hurry. Let this take time and be okay with the process. Because what you're doing again is you're building balance into your technique. And that's the only way that you're going to be able to create healthy singing in the upper range and with loud intensity. If there's imbalance, you're going to risk injuring your instrument. All right, I really hope that this video has been helpful and encouraging, and if you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do my very best to respond to everyone's questions and comments. And if you liked this video and found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And also, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to this channel, and that way every time I post a new video, you'll be notified right away. Thank you so much for watching.